Hey friends, Chris here with Little Roots Ranch and turkeys, and I am so excited because today is corn planting day. But I'm gonna be trying something different on a few different levels. I have struggled in the past with corn because the rabbits or the voles or a mouse or I don't know what, but they steal my corn. And this year, I'm going to have a beautiful corn crop because I'm going to transplant it. And that's something new for me. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't state early on in the video that if you don't have pest problems, you really don't want to transplant corn. It's not ideal. Corn is an exceptionally heavy feeder and it's got a very big taproot. And so there isn't a margin of error as far as timing, meaning if you seed a tray or whatever with corn and then life gets crazy or in-laws show up or anything, right? Like there is no time forgiveness, because when that root starts, the taproot starts twirling or runs out of room, then you're going to have a stunted plant and you may or may not get corn. So that's really important. I just want to say that. Also, if you're buying corn starts, which I've seen at different places, I feel like that's really hard because you want to make sure that that corn is absolutely under 2 weeks old. 2 weeks is kind of the time where you want from the day you seed the corn, not when it emerges, but the day you seed it till you get it in the ground is about 2 weeks, potentially maybe 3, but don't rely on that. So if you see corn that's in a container or whatever, you don't know how long it's been there and you don't want to have a bad corn crop. And so, yeah, I wanted to knock those few things out of the way. For me, I'm going to be transplanting corn because I have voles, and voles like to eat seeds, or mice, or ravens, or crows. What is it? Whenever you're going to plant corn, you want to plant 4 seeds. 1 for the mouse, 1 for the crow, 1 for the rot, and 1 to grow. But I'm going to skip all that, and I'm going to transplant them. Now, a little bit about the corn that I grow. This year, which is really exciting, I'm growing 2 different kinds of corn. The first planting, which is what we're doing today, May 10th, is going to be popcorn, which is really exciting. It's an early pink variety from Territorial, and I believe it's 85 days to maturity, and so I'm going to start that today. I also grow a sweet corn, and so I need to make sure that neither of those corns are in tassel together, which is like the fertilization, right? They do like wind fertilization, which is why you plant in blocks, not rows. That's very important. I'll do a video when I actually plant them out, but you don't want a long line of corn. You can have several together to make a block, but you want it to be in a square, not rectangle or line or anything like that. But so my first and only planting of popcorn is going to be today. And then every 1 to 2 weeks, what I'm going to do is I grow the peaches and cream corn. It's my wife's favorite corn, so I grow it for her. And everyone else loves it too. It's a sweet corn. And I'm going to succession plant that every 1 to 2 weeks, depending on space and room and all that, till about mid-June. I might go a little longer, or I've got some older corn to kind of experiment to see how far I can push corn out, because I haven't succession planted corn in the past, but I'm trying to get a little bit more serious about growing it, so I'm going to do that. So today is going to be popcorn, again, early pink. I'm going to do that one, transplant it out in 2 weeks and not a minute longer. So the first thing there's 3 things I need. Well, I guess 4. But I'm using a 72 tray. This fits in a 1022. It's got 72 holes, hence called 72 tray. And that's what I'm gonna start that in. What I'm gonna put inside, besides of course the seed or corn kernel or whatever, is going to be compost, sifted compost, and then Pro Mix. So I'm actually gonna mix these together and then I'll put them in my tray. I'll do that in fast version though, so you don't have to sit there and watch me. So hang tight just one moment. I actually did one of the trays 50-50 mixed with compost and the Pro Mix, and then the other 3 trays were just the Pro Mix. Okay, so I've got my compost and Pro Mix in here, and I used a little stick to put holes down about 1 inch in each one. Look at how pretty these seeds are. They're like pink. Again, these are popcorn, and so I'm sure they're going to be delicious. This is actually my first year growing popcorn, so I'm really excited. But basically, I'm just gonna take the kernel and drop 1 in per hole, which is pretty easy. Obviously they are, oops, I accidentally dropped 2. They're a whole lot easier than a lot of other smaller seeds that can be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, so I'm really excited to try this way, because now I don't have to compete with the wildlife as much for my corn, which of course is exciting. And again, this is my first planting. This is popcorn. Every planting after this will be of my regular eating corn. And popcorn can be decorative or of course popped, as the name suggests. And I plant this first because it has to dry out, whether it's used excuse me, for popcorn or for fall decor, decorations, whatever. Oops. And so that's why getting this out of the way. Also, as I said earlier, I can't have 2 corns in tassel at the same time, because then the resulting corn will be a combination of that. So if I can get this popcorn planted, I'm gonna plant all my popcorn in one go and not succession plant that. Oops, I got a little bit more. Guess I'll be doing another tray. And then I won't have to worry about it, because the rest of the corn will be, what's it called? Will be that peaches and cream regular sweet corn. There's a motorcycle going by, so the turkeys are going crazy. Hi, boys. Anyways, and so if the other corn is in seed or tassel at the same time, that's no problem. And so I'll go ahead and wrap these up, and then I'll see you again in 2 weeks when I transplant these out. And also, I'm trying a new transplanting method this year. I'm gonna do an experiment, so I'll do it half and half, and I'll do a video on that. But somebody was telling me that for years they've always planted their corn, they plant 4 in a hole, and that the corn is unaffected and grows well together. And so I'm gonna give that a try. And so half of the corn that I plant will be just singles like normal, and half will be multi-sown. And I will be able to see if there's a difference in yield, and maybe I've got a new way to grow corn. But anyways, so I've got my my seeded corn here, and I'm gonna do up one more tray and wait for it to pop out. Oh, one thing I did want to say, if you're doing transplanted corn, one really big tip I want you to know is that you should have your ground prepped before you even start. Just because corn is so unforgiving and life is so hectic, it's very important that, because things do come up, right, all the time. And so you don't want your corn to go bad, especially if you're buying a smaller packet and it's all the corn. You know what I mean? So if you have like a small area or a big area or whatever it is, and you're gonna transplant your corn, or even if you're buying some at the nursery, make sure you have that area ready to go so you can slip it in. The other thing I almost forgot to mention is that, well, I did mention earlier that corn is a really heavy feeder, but what I didn't mention was that the feeding has to start while the corn is still in the tray. And so corn loves nitrogen. The area that this will be transplanted in has been receiving my chicken manure from the coop for the past, like, I don't know, 6 months or something like that. And so it's going to be nitrogen ready, but while they're still here, because the roots, they go deeper when they're searching for like water, nutrients. That's their job, right? And so what I want to do is make sure that I'm giving it enough water so they don't search as hard, not to soak them or rot them or anything, but enough, make sure they're not drying out. But also I'm going to need to give them some nitrogen. So I'll be using that stinging nettle concentrate, diluting that and putting that in there. Or I might use a little bit of either fish emulsion or blood meal, depending on how they're looking. And so, yeah. But anyways, so I'll see you in 2 weeks when these bad boys go into the ground. Thank you for watching, and happy corn planting. Bye. Happy gardening. Bye. Turkey, say bye.